Hi friends, I hope everybody's doing well on this Tuesday. I intend to say some really foul things and to criticize and talk about an issue that I think is really important. And so if you don't want to deal with like a negative issue, that's totally fine. Um, you can scroll and I won't be mad at you. You can yell at me in the comments too, that's fine. I don't mind. And so when I was a kid growing up in Oklahoma, in rural Oklahoma, about 30-45 minutes outside of Oklahoma City in McLeod, Oklahoma. It's where I went to school my whole life until, I went to college. And we were poor. There was not a lot of wealth there at all. And in 1980, my parents divorced, which always makes everything harder, especially for women. My dad didn't want to be a full-time parent anymore, and he really resented paying child support. That's a really common thing still to this day. At that time, in the 80s, it was $150 per kid that the judge assigned him to pay. It was $450 for me and my brothers. And my dad viewed it as giving money to my mom rather than for taking care of us. And so he would make it late, and he griped about it all the time. He bitched about it all the time, and paying alimony, which I kind of don't remember how much that was. It wasn't very much. It was, like a sandwich or two. It was just such a tiny amount of money, and it was really sad. And that was at the same time Ronald Reagan was president. He was elected in 80. I remember how everybody was pretty excited about Reagan being president. He was a handsome actor, from Hollywood and all that stuff. And I, as a 10-year-old, I don't remember what people were really excited about. If it was like, oh, he's so handsome, let's elect him, or if he has good ideas. I know he had been the governor of California. That's, the governors of California usually is a really good step up to the presidency. There's that. And so I remember him calling people who were poor, who needed government assistance, who utilized all the government programs since the FDR days, calling them welfare queens. And I hated him for that. I thought he was a piece of shit asshole for saying that, because my mom needed it to get by, and she worked full-time as a waitress in her 40s and until she passed at the very young age of 65. Okay, and I hated him for that. The then President Reagan. And he had always been, wealthy. I don't know if he grew up that way, but he was an actor. They make such great money, and I just really resented that. Like, what does he know? What do any of these people who have never been poor, who are you to say that about my mom, who was absolutely fantastic with money? My dad was terrible with money. He constantly complained about child support and alimony. And and I'm not trying to shit hard on my dad, even though he could have used some improvements. And my mom was just so good with it. And because of the way society had always treated women, she was born in 1934, he was born in 1932. It was, utter dependence on husbands, on men. And it's just not fair, because there's so many brilliant women who handle money awesome, like my mom. And so that sort of brings me to today. And I know so many people who are receiving government assistance. When James and I were first parents, when we were just first starting out, we utilized WIC. And because it was so crappy at the time, like sugary juices, juicy juice or whatever, with, giant blocks of the crappiest, highest fat cheese. And after a little bit, we're just like, we can't even use this, and WIC and SNAP are very much better today, but we haven't needed it for a long time. As soon as we were able to get off of it, we did, which is what most people do. And so we're really grateful for what we did have, from the government, and we really appreciated that. And so today, Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt, who is a total elitist asshole, I really resent him. I think he's a disgusting prick. And I know so many people in Oklahoma personally that are suffering from poverty and still vote for him. And I don't know how to mentally approach that. I just will continue to love those people and want better for them, while he, in the governor's mansion, who sends his children to private school while the education system in Oklahoma continues to degrade and suck, not because of teachers, not because of teachers, but because of his leadership and the supermajority Republican state houses there. And they continue to give tax cuts to the rich and take money out of the education system for the benefit of the wealthy, while Oklahoma suffers in poverty. They suffer in poverty. And Mr. Governor Stitt has said very recently that maybe we need a little more of the shame of getting government assistance. Maybe we need to feel that, not we, poor people, okay? And I'm just disgusted. I'm disgusted by that. In my life, I experienced poverty after my parents' divorce, when we were first starting out as a family in the late 90s, and because James is such a wonderful, amazing provider and such a hard worker, we both are out of poverty for a long time. And for him to say that poor people need to feel some shame that'll help get them off, gross. Fuck you. In your ass with a jumping chala cactus. Look that up. They're awful. You deserve that. Okay, I'm so disgusted and grossed out by that. I can hardly even think straight. I'm so sorry. There's just so many beautiful people there that need the help, that deserve the help. And we get government assistance in so many ways. I mean, for example, when we were in the military, you get veteran benefits, forever, which veterans deserve that, especially disabled veterans, and there's so many different levels of that. You get, health care, Medicare and Medicaid, Social Security, all of those are social programs, and we deserve to have those. When we were in the military, we didn't have to pay for housing, and we didn't have to pay for medical care, and we just got pennies to otherwise live on, meaning any travel, any food was literally $800 a month from in 99, 2000, 2001. It was disgusting. And I just resent so much this governor speaking that way about the beautiful people of Oklahoma. And I do know so many people that are like my peers that have done really well for themselves, that have degrees, they worked hard, they're lawyers, there's a few doctors, people that are just doing really well in business, and there's other people that have not, for whatever reason, been able to go to college or lift themselves out of poverty, and they deserve to be helped. They do not deserve to be left behind. And I know that there's a ton of things that I wanted to share, and I'm just so angry, because I love all of you in Oklahoma, and the education system particularly is being robbed of the people, and it is not the fault of teachers. Teachers deserve to be paid at least triple, at least quadruple or more. The things that they do are amazing, and they deserve better. Teachers that have to go buy supplies for their students, and then they're poo-pooed because they don't make enough money, that they need government assistance. Fuck you, Kevin Stitt. And I really hope this November that Oklahomans, I can't vote there. I vote federally and in Colorado, but if I could vote there, I would vote for progressive. I think you probably know that about me clearly, but I do hope that they vote for somebody that cares about them more. I mean, if Mr. Stitt actually had a heart for the people of Oklahoma, he would never say something so cruel and disgusting. I love you, all of you in Oklahoma, and I want better for you. I love you.